Good evening, everybody. Good evening, one and all. So, thank you for the coming to this today's sessions on the webinar on the digital leaderships. And today we have with us two speakers. One, Vijay Pukale is a good friend of mine, and we joined together in ISRO. And he worked for a few years in ISRO, and then he has left and chosen a different field now. Now, presently, he is a project portfolio manager at Cloud and Infra Finland, Pune. He did his MTech in mechanical engineering from the NIT Warangal. And he is the award winner of Next Handed CIO in 2017. And he has a lot of other professional experiences and around more than 20 years of experience in the field of like in the IT digitizations and aerospace. I welcome you, Vijay, for these sessions, and thank you very much for your initiative. And and we have very special speaker, guest, Shri Ajit Kanitkar, and he is the head of the project management at Cloud and Infra India in Pune, and he holds a BA electrical engineering and a PGD in systems, and he is a PMP certified professional, and he is the winner of Next Handed CIO Award in 2016, and he has more than 20 years of experience in IT industry, project management, and leadership role. I welcome you, Ajit sir, and Vijay, and I'm really thankful for you, both of you, for coming to this digital platform and talking about the digital leadership, and it really shows your interest to show the leadership qualities, particularly the digital leadership, which is need of the hour in today's time. Particularly, we are going through this pandemic, and all businesses now run online. And in this scenario, I think digital leadership is really the is required for the young professionals and the future generation. And thank you very much. And now I request both the speakers to please you can start the session.
Thanks, Tashi. You can make me present. Yeah, I think I can directly start sharing. Let me know once my. Good evening to all of you. Though we were expecting many participants, but less number of participants is also good. Means we can be more interacting with each other, and we can make it more worth. And rest assured that we will make next 1.5 hour worth spending. And Tashi has introduced me, but most of the times we have seen that host goes unnoticed, and I will make sure that it is not happening this time. So first of all, I would like to appreciate sharing Tashi, and he is doing really a great job, and it was a proud feeling for me when last year he was recognized as a 4 influential people in the Ladakh. So we were sharing room during our trainings in ISRO, and we had a great time. So let me take this occasion to thank him for his contribution in the society, and his great initiative for this series of seminars. So with this note, let us start. So what we can do essentially in the next 1 or 2 minutes, we may not start deep diving into the agenda. So in the next 1 or 2 minutes, so whatever comes in your mind, a single word, okay, so that you can enter in the chat. When you listen, when you hear digital leadership, whatever comes in your mind, you can just mention in the chat, and we will check those points. And uh, meanwhile, Tashi has already introduced, so this is me in short, and this profile is about Ajit, but you should be less worried about it. You should be considering or thinking about what's in it for me. So if it is worth attending for 1.5 hours, spending 1.5 hours on the Sunday evening, So that you should look forward. So we'll make sure that it is a power pack session. We have some couple of good videos to play. We have some quiz to keep you engaged during the session, and $1 million question asked nowadays: what is leadership, digital leadership, all about, and how it is differentiated from general leadership skills. So we will try to touch base all the aspects. So meanwhile, I touch base the agenda at the high level. You can keep texting in the chat that what is that one word comes in your mind when you listen the word digital leadership. So I will highly introduce at high level. I will introduce the agenda, and I will invite Ajit to kickstart actual session. Then we will work in tandem, and we will drive this session forward. And we'll make sure that you are having a good time, good learning, and at the end of the session, you have something in your kitty to carry. Okay, so agenda for today's session. So we will try to explore these few areas. We may not follow the sequence what is mentioned in this agenda, but we will touch base what is the mantra of digital leadership, and why is digital leadership most relevant nowadays, and uh, the most in demand skill in digital leadership, and characteristics of digital leadership. Then how we can improve our strategic thinking, how we can be simple but still effective without using the words from the speech. So those we will try to understand, and most importantly, how digital leaders outperform their peers in every industry. We will see that how digital leaders can be differentiated as a classy from massy. So all those points we will try to touch base in this 1.5 hour session. And so with this node, we can deep dive to the agenda. But before that, we can have a quick look at the chat. What are those words that you think when it comes to digital leadership? Okay, I'm not able to see the chat window. Ajit, you can take it forward with the reference to the points in the chat. Can you hear me?
Ajit is muted.
Ajit, you can unmute yourself.
Okay, am I audible to you?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Thank you. And thanks sharing Tashi and Vijay. Thanks for giving us this opportunity to sort of get connected with our audience here who have joined, and thanks everyone who has joined, taking time out on a weekend on a Sunday to participate in this session. And Vijay, the only word that I can see has been shared by Ayush Jain. He says that for him, digital leadership means inquisitive. So I think this is a very interesting point, and definitely we will also try to maybe open up this point going forward. So yeah, so let's begin. So the first topic that we are going to look at is the mantra of digital leadership. So when we think of digital leadership, what do you think would be the mantra? So what we have realized in recent times, and the way the technology has been changing, that it most of the time lies in the information democracy. Now we most of us have probably heard about what democracy in general is, when it comes to the types of governments and how the citizens are sort of connected in a given country. But what do you mean by information democracy? So what I think here is, so it is more of sharing your ideas, concepts and logics with relation to digital business that we do, and how digitalization and digital concepts are connected. So what it means is being able to share your thought process with others in the organization, within your own fraternity, to understand things better and make sure that we are utilizing them. Even so, see, if you have a concept or a logic in that is there in your own mind, there could always be someone who can really give it a lift, and at the same time more than one person can really collaborate and then make sure that those ideas are being converted into some reality, right? So that is what it means when it comes to information democracy, and we see a lot of information being available. So if you're sharing these ideas, it really helps to make sure that you see some real outcomes which are helpful for the society, which are helpful for the business, and then it keeps on growing with more and more people getting connected. And of course, this, when we think of these type of concepts, it should be like-minded people who are very much interested in those type of things. And then if we move forward, so again, I have already spoken about the next word a bit. Digital leadership is also more about architecting of an organization which is more networked. So I'm not sure if you have heard of the concept of net connected leadership or the network leadership. Nowadays there is a concept wherein bigger organization, they don't talk about leadership, sort of they have a leadership at the top, or but they talk about network of leadership. You know, there are people who are sitting at different levels, and then they are connected together, and they are part of a network wherein they are collaborating, and then they are able to make sure that they are architecting an organization where people at different level are able to collaborate and make sure that they are working for the same goal to achieve the objective of their organization and themselves as an individual as well. So they are growing themselves, and the organization also is growing at the same time, and they are utilizing the available data information that is there with them. So again, if we go back to point number one, so if we are architected in such a manner that we are networked together within the groups, and then we are making sure that the ideas and concepts are being shared instead of being hoarded somewhere, then that becomes even a more powerful tool in itself, right? So that is what it means when it comes to digital leadership. And so Vijay, whenever you feel like pitching in, please go ahead. So and then now if we look at point number 3, it talks about leading without any authority. Now this is very important, how one can really do this when it, so this is again, when we talk of digital concepts, digital leadership, how a person can really lead without authority. See, it is more about influencing based on the information that you have, the data that you have, and the knowledge that you make out of it, right? So that really makes a huge difference. So it doesn't require a person to be sitting in a position of authority. So many a times people think about titles, right? People think about being a director, vice president, a senior director, or general manager, or head of something. So what this point really means is that you should be able, or you can really utilize resources available with you as an individual, and then still be able to influence the larger portion of the organization which are networked together. So that is what it means, leading without authority. And then the next point is more about being more how do you say, innovative in thought process. It means you're talking about the business models and strategies, so that you're challenging the current status and then trying to think differently, and then still be able to deliver results which are better than the conventional ways of working. So think of those people who have maybe thought of developing a car which doesn't require a driver. I mean, driverless car, or humanless car, or remotely managed car. I mean, this is just an example. There could be many more such examples. This one comes to my mind at the moment, which is, so these are the things which are under development as yet, right? Think of those people who, for example, in current situation, if how to utilize say supply chain for delivering the things at the doorsteps of the people, even in situations like this, right? So these are some of the examples where people have tried to imagine once again the business models which have been there in place for so many years, but then they are challenging it and making them more efficient, more useful for the end users and the society as well. Think of the hospitals. right? How they are managing the situation today, how they are making their own business model work better than what they have done in the past. This is what digital leadership means. So they probably could also be utilizing the uh, type of patients that they have been getting, and then what are the so it also, I mean, if we think of this particular example, now think of hospital. What is the impact of the weather on the type of patients that come to the hospital? Are there more patients when there is more cold out there in the weather, or when it is rainy season, when it is summer? What kind of patients are there? I mean, what are the people who come to the hospital to be treated, right? I mean, using this kind of a data for reimagining the business, making sure that the right kind of facilities are available in a given hospital. So this is more of reimagining. So you can think of any industry. It could be space, it could be manufacturing, it could be retail, it could be telecom. I mean, think of if we think of India now, of course this is just an example. We are not really promoting any company here, but think of what has happened to the telecom industry because of what Geo has done, right? Reliance Geo has done. So this again is more of being a person or a leader who is thinking differently than what the industry has been thinking, and we can see the results. And then the next point, of course, again, it emphasizes the previous point a bit more, that rule of the game keeps on changing all the time. Think of a business today. Now, all the IT companies, corporate world, people have been having the habit, have been expected by the organizations to be in the office. Majority, I mean, if we think of all the corporate world, 80%, minimum 80% of the companies always wanted have to have their people working from the office. Now, is it really doable today? Right. So the what it means is that the game has a different rule now. It is totally a different rule what it was maybe before January. But then people have reimagined the business model, and then they are still able to deliver. Think of retail companies, how they are conducting their business. They have reduced the number of hours, but then are they able to manage their, are they changing the production of given products, the number of things being produced at a given time, right? So that really means that if you have to survive, if you have to sustain and still grow in the longer period of time, then we must keep in mind that the game has always been the case that the rule keeps on changing all the time. You cannot really imagine that the game remains the same. Now, again, I mean, I am going to give a very simple example. There was a time, then probably most of you will connect with this one. Of course, this is not related to corporate world or a digital leadership as per se, but this is more about rules of the game are changing all the time. Think of cricket as a game, because in India we definitely follow, most of the people follow the game of cricket, right? Now there was a time when people used to have test match for 6 days in the beginning, then it was reduced to 5 days, then we had one days, then now we have got one form of the game where we are completing or rather we are competing in a game where people are playing 20 hours a game aside, right? Now what is changing? The dynamics of the game change. What is to be prioritized, how long you have to play, how you are going to utilize your 11 players, what should be the mix of the team, is it different for each type of the game, right? I mean, this is one example, very simple example, which you can probably connect very easily in terms of the fact that the rules of the game keep on changing all the time. And then of course the last point is about digital leadership, which is lattice of empowerment and accountability. What it really means is that the whole organization, I mean, at the majority of the level, we make sure that people are able to speak to each other, they are able to communicate with each other, and still the responsibility of who is expected to deliver what is definitely there. The accountability is defined, but it doesn't mean that those people who are capable and have got ideas, concepts, logics, who want to deliver more, nobody is stopping them from doing that. People can still contribute and still deliver, wherein we are making sure in any organization that people are able to contribute based upon their skill sets and abilities, so that there is no hurdle or obstruction in between. So if you're sitting, so imagine a person who is joined an organization as a fresher yesterday, he or she has got some concepts that they feel that they can really make a difference. Then this digital leadership probably is an example where you can say that yes, even though the person is a fresher, there is no obstruction. He or she can still propose the concept or ideas and make sure that there is right audience for that, and then we are empowering those people to make those ideas a reality in the longer run. So a few points on this first slide. Maybe Vijay, if you want to maybe add some points here, then we can go to next one.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I think we can go to next slide. So
Okay.
most of the points you have covered very well. Then we talk about this building block for digital leadership. So when we look at the foundation of the digital leadership, so these fundamentals becomes more important when the rule of the game is changing every time, as Ajit mentioned. And you need to lead without authority sometimes, and digital leadership facilitates that. And when we talk about the communication, I think that is the most important aspect for any kind of a leadership. And uh, when you are a well equipped digital leader, then you have many means for the communication. So I will give you one real time example. Before I think last week I have shared one post on the LinkedIn, and I have seen that in 3 days the post was viewed by more than 10,000 people. So I was surprised. I was never expecting that, and I have done some studies. Then I have seen that the content was worth reading, and it was reshared many times. Then I came across one concept called as digital footprint and digital shadow. So digital footprint means what you are posting on the social media, and digital shadow means uh, if someone is resharing that, it is called as a digital shadow. So when we talk about importance of communication in the digital era, that is what one example I can quote here. Then partnership, we need to work in collaboration. You can see the real-time example now that I have requested Ajit to join me to make it more effective and more value addition for people who are joining. So similarly, we can collaborate with other industries when we are talking about digital transformation for the customer. You may not be having expertise in the all areas, so that vision should be there in the digital leader, that when I need to collaborate with experts. So you have seen that many of the organizations which are well established, they also take help of different vendors, and they treat them as a success partner. So that thought process should be there as a digital leader. And then strategy, direction, success, all those points should be taken care more with more what we can say precision when we are talking about digital leader. And how we can differentiate digital leadership from general leadership skill is, when you call yourself as a digital leadership, you have additional means, and you know how to effectively use the assets you are having, digital assets you are having in your organization. You know how to collaborate effectively with your partners and make maximum out of it. And you know what is there beyond the deliverables for the customer. You are trying to increase their business with the help of the digitization with your IT support. So that is what differentiate digital leader or digital leaderships. You know the different means. Along with those basic leadership qualities, you have all those facilities or ammunition to drive it more effectively and efficiently. So again, goal, teamwork, and at the top of it you can see there is a uh, leadership. So these are the building blocks for digital leadership. Yeah, again, then strategic use of companies digital assets, that's what differentiate you as a digital leaders to achieve business goal. Essentially business goals means what your goal your organization is having. So if you are using digital assets effectively, when you understand the simple principle of uh, make or buy decision, if you understand how to collaborate with your customer, and if you are well aware with the new ongoing technologies, if you understand how you can take advantage of artificial intelligence, IoT. In the last session we had one of the session on data science, how it works, then blockchain. If you can make use of this all technology effectively to facilitate or promote your business, that matters. And we should be also aware of this robotic process automation. And I came across one more word like robot. It is called as cobot. So cobot essentially means collaboration of the robots. So so those how you can use this advancement of technology for growth of the business, for growth of the customer business, and at the end of the day, value addition to the society, and making life easy and beautiful for uh, in the society. So that is what we are looking for. And that it means to be a digital leader. Leader essentially doesn't mean to just speak the words from the speech and using fancy words and using latest gadget. You should be able to understand that how the digital assets can be effectively used for the betterment of the society, and what information do you need to achieve for your goal, that we will look forward. Then decision making will be the crucial in the success for your organization, because as we know that situations are changing rapidly. So if I will hand over to Ajit after this one small concept, why we have to take quick decisions. If you look back in 1960s, the average life of any organization was 50 to 60 years. So now after that, many startups are coming. So nowadays, if you see, average life of any organization is in the range of 20 years. So nobody is starting his or her organization with the end date in mind, but that is the reality. So uh, you should be there in this game with the infinite mindset. Means you are here not to win or lose. You are here to keep going. So that long-term perspective or vision you should have as a digital leader. Yeah.
Yeah, and Vijay,
Hmm.
I think very
Hmm.
well said. So even if we go back to still the previous slide, so I was
Yeah.
thinking of two more examples. I mean,
Yeah. So
uh,
you can definitely mention that. But before that,
yeah,
we have some quiz and we have some questions. So if the participants are with us, so if that is making sense for them, if it is making value addition for them, any reflections?
yeah, and if someone wants to unmute and say something, that will definitely be more useful and helpful for us to understand if it is making any value addition for you listeners there, so that if needed, we can speed it up or slow it down, or how do you feel? So yes, Ayush, please go ahead. I can see you have raised your hand. Please go ahead. Or if you want to write something in the text also, that still holds good. And others also, I can see some names. I can see Nasir there, Gyanendra Mishra, Rajat,
No,
Sushil.
I raised hand for that, telling that for quiz Vijay asked, no? For that I told yes, thumbs up.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, no worries. Thank you
Yeah,
so much. But
yeah,
yeah,
we will go for the quiz.
Yes.
Yeah, that will be more interesting. Yeah, thank you, Vijay.
okay, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, Ajit.
So yeah, so let's still go back to the previous slide. I have got one or rather two examples in my mind at the moment. So uh, why? So there, I mean, people do ask this question many a times. The difference between, as Vijay was mentioning, what is the difference between the conventional leadership and digital leadership? Now think of the IPL started yesterday. I mean, I'm intentionally taking this example. What goes behind the scenes when you look at different teams? They are sort of going for buying a player, and then they are not buying some ex player, right? So what probably they are doing, I mean, this is my again thought process here, that they are looking at the record of the player for say last 5 years in different forms of game, while the person is playing for the country or within different formats of the game. And then they are looking at, for example, if say this player, if a player is a batsman, how many runs he or he has scored, and then after that, how many partnerships this person has been with other players within a given game, and what is the impact of those partnerships, whether he has been a winner or not for the team, or things like that. So that is the information which is available to them, based on which they are able to decide the right mix of the player. So how they select the first 16, and out of those they let 11 players to play in a given match against a given team, right? So this is one example where they can utilize the digital assets which are available for a team when it comes to IPL, for example. And then the next example that comes to my mind is, think of a big retail chain. It could be any chain, so it could be, say, Reliance Mart, it could be D Mart, it could be any other. So uh, if we think of these retail chains, how are they replenishing their shelves, right? So for example, they see that the number of footfall that is there in their stores is lesser on, say, Wednesday. So probably what they can do is they can utilize Wednesday for fulfilling their shelves again with the those type of products which are more in demand, or maybe they can also replenish their shelves with those products which they really want their customers to see and buy, right? So these information or the data that is available with the organization will definitely help their leaders to decide in terms of how they proceed in terms of making the use of the digital asset that is there with them. Yeah.
Absolutely. Those
Yeah.
are the relevant examples. So now we will watch one wonderful video. So you have closely watched that video, you can see that most of the points they were trying to emphasize about customer centricity, why vision is important. That was not a, voiceover video; it was just a music. But one more video we have where you can actually listen someone highlighting the importance of being simple, though you call yourself as a digital leader. So now, uh, quick quiz here. So if you see, uh, so again, there is nothing right or wrong here, but uh, at this point of time, when we talk, what are the two factors that influence digital transformation? You think out of these five? So can you text in the chat? What do you think? What is more important for digital business transformation? Customer experience, online presence of organizations, how your business model is. Business model essentially means how your organization is functioning, what are your expertise, how it is divided, what are your offerings. So, what are your market, what we can say, market areas. So all those things comes under a business model. Revenue means if you are a big organization or a small organization, and culture means what is the overall culture of your organization that influence most of the things in the organization. So uh, let us see in the chat window. Okay, business model, third, business model and 5 culture, very good. Online presence is also important. Customer experience, okay. So there is no hierarchy or number one, number two, number three here, but definitely customer experience will be the key here. That how customer feel about it, or what benefits they are getting out of your digital services. So that makes more difference. But yes, your thought process or your points are very much valid, and I can see online presence also. That also makes a lot of sense. So how you are visible to your customer or your potential customer, that is also important. Okay, so those were a few good points. Thank you very much. Then choose 3 initiatives that you think will mostly contribute to success in future. So when we talk about upcoming digital era, so what do you think that what will be the most important, or at least 3 points that comes in your mind? So I will read one by one. Digital advocacy means we are promoting this digitization across through all the means. So customer relations is how you are maintaining your customer to promote your NPS. Then what is productivity of your own organization and mobility. Cloud technology is what you're offering to the customer as IT industry. Then what automation tool you have. Then optimizing expenses will help or not using lean technology. And how it will help you if you are collaborating well with your customers and sorry, your service providers, and taking advantage of the ecosystem. So again, I can see that automation, cloud technology, customer. So see, customer is given topmost priority by most of the participants. So anyone would like to speak out, and uh, if not customer, then any other point, why do you think that it is important in the digital era? Anyone would like to say something, or you are comfortable in text only? You can unmute and you can express. Yeah,
Vijay,
Gyanendra.
there. Yeah.
Yeah,
Can you
please.
hear me?
Yes, you're
Yeah,
audible.
yeah. Yes. Yeah. So if you cover other points,
Hmm.
automatically the customer interest will take care there. Like if automation, cloud technology, and the collaborative. So this point I think is the best suitable here. And if you are considering this customer centric, these are the points, and it will delight to the customer and will meet their expectation. So I hope that's why we can select these options out of this.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, Ganendra, I can see absolute clarity there. If you're taking care of your own house, and if you're making
Mm.
sure that you're providing clean and neat service to the customer, then customer delight is just outcome. So that is good approach. And most importantly, you are making sure that how effectively you are using your digital assets, your workforce, or your uh, uh, technical expertise. So thanks for that good insight, Gyanendra.
Thank you, Vijay.
Yeah. Anyone would like to comment? Or do you find anything not familiar, or not making sense, or if you're not able to use it? So what do I mean is, do you not understand by digital advocacy or optimizing expenses? I think we all knows it. Just it is a matter of using them effectively and making sure that you are taking help of digitization. Okay, so now when we are talking about some new realities, so Ajit, you would like to add some points here?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so this slide basically talks about strong digital capabilities, right? That are a priority for the entire organization. If you as an organization really think that you want to survive this digital age, what it means is that again, I mean, it is sort of I would say more of reiterating the fact that the type of leadership that you have in the organization which is there today and what you need for tomorrow, right? So there is a big difference in that. And we really if we think of people who are in the role of leadership, or we also discussed about lattice, right, where we are saying that there is no hierarchy in place, and we really want to make sure that that kind of a culture and environment exists where people are strongly driven by the digital concepts, by digital information that they are using for making sure that. And as Ganendra also, I would like to maybe add that point also, that if you think that the survival of an organization, if customer advocacy is something that is really important, then how do you drive that to achieve and being the partner of your customer, right? So that you are driving your customer success, not just your own success. How will you make it happen? By making sure that you are utilizing the right capabilities that are available in the market, and your organizational leaders are also equally utilizing them. And if think of an organization, we know there are so many companies in the past which have not been successful. Do you think what could be the reason behind that? I mean, if I can now try to recall, of course, I have not thought of this particular point, that what happened to those organizations which didn't change with the time, right? So, for example, in the past, we have thought, we have looked, seen Nokia, what happened to Nokia, and then there were mobiles which are available which utilize different technology, and then there was a time when Nokia almost became obsolete, right? And then now they have jumped back again. But then if you think of that organization and the DNA of the organization, the way it was working, and there could be many such examples. So in order to be relevant in this business in today's world, it is important that we look at the capabilities as an organization, as a leader, and then make sure that we are making sure that the DNA of the organization is in sync with the times that exist and what we see in the future also. So the business strategy, it should keep on evolving with the time. I mean, think of now I'll again I'm trying to give, or rather focus on those examples which are, think of Olas and Ubers which are there today, how they are utilizing their digital channels, right? And then if you are seeing in some of the countries in Europe or in America, where they utilize the digital channels, right? And then if you have seen in some of the countries in Europe or in America's overall America as a country, they are utilizing. And then if I look at, if I'm not wrong, Sweden is one of the countries where they utilize the digital medium for making the payments the most, if I'm not wrong. So they again if you look at that as a country, similarly the way organization works, it definitely makes a huge difference in terms of the reality that is there in front of leadership, and how they can mold themselves, how they can change themselves and still remain relevant in the current time. So that is what this slide talks more about, being more relevant and making sure that we understand the reality of the business, the changing world as of today.
Absolutely, Ajit. You were mentioning that Sweden, almost 98% of money transaction is done digitally. And I remember the speech from the CEO of the Nokia. He said at the end that I didn't do anything wrong, but still we are in this situation. Probably it is not about doing everything right. It is about being immune to the change. So you should
Yeah.
be ready for the change, and that should be DNA of your organization. So before we go to the next slide, so I will tell you one. It is not a philosophy; it is a life hack, we can say. So when we are talking about exploring new areas or exploring new learning new things, unlearning old things, and learning, relearning, unlearning. If you have to keep this cycle, then one life hack would be you can identify yourself with what you want to explore or what you don't know. So what you know is very tiny. When we are talking about this digital transformation, you may be talking something about the artificial intelligence or cloud and edge computing, or RPA, quantum computing, or 3D or 4D printing for that matter. But still, you know very less. And when you identify yourself with what you don't know, then what you know, which is very tiny, then your ability or your appetite for learning increases. So if we do that, and if we keep exploring these areas to possible extent, you may not be expert in the all areas, but as a when you see yourself as a digital leader, you should have very good know-how, very good understanding of using those technology effectively. So that will be the life hack, that identify yourself with what you don't know. So that will help you to increase your appetite for learning new technologies, new skill sets, and new challenges what you are looking forward. Yeah, so with that, I think next point is leadership style of today's digital leaders. So you can see that rather than driving a direct outcome, today's leaders must understand how digital strategies can be used as an enabler for broader corporate or product strategies. So see, when we are doing some digital marketing, so we need not it is again talking about the process and not outcome. So if you ensure that your process is followed with the proper strategy and with the proper enablers with the digitization, outcome will take care. Like Gyanendra has given example, if you're taking care of your house, then customer satisfaction is just outcome. So then that should be the style of leadership. Then digital leaders must always set an example for the values of openness, collaboration, innovation, as they transit their organization to a non-siloed working culture. So non-siloed means collaboration. And when we talk about the innovation, so now the millennial kids are more innovative, or more their thought process is different altogether. When I say that, so whatever knowledge you have gained over the years, now in front of technology, if you are very good at mathematics and you are sitting in front of small calculator, that will make you feel full. So that knowledge is there, but it is evolving. So you need to make sure that how innovative you are, how collaborative you are, so how you are taking advantage of the ecosystem, how you are moving forward as a digital leader uh, with the help of others. So collective wisdom is playing more important role here rather than just leading it. So when we go back to the Adams era, then most muscular people or the most muscular man was the leader, because that was the need of that hour. So then one muscular man, what he can, he or she can do it, and machine can do it more effectively than him or her. So you need to keep on changing with changing times, and you need to be open for the collaboration and innovative thought process. So that should be the style of the today's leaderships. There are many points, but we thought of covering these two.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
well said,
yeah,
Vijay. Good.
yeah, yeah. So now we will watch one more very beautiful video of my one of favorite Simon Sinek. So sharing, if you can play this beautiful video, listen it very carefully for to call yourself or you to develop thought process of digital leadership. You need not be fancy enough. You can be simple, still effective as a digital leader. So let us start this beautiful video.
How do you make strategic thinking more implementation friendly?
Language.
strategic thinking can be more implementation friendly when you use words that you understand. It's amazing to me how often we read strategies that are incomprehensible. To be the preeminent supplier, we're gonna. I mean, what? I mean, these are things that you can't do. Based on what metric? We want to be the best. That's your strategy? Like, that's not a strategy. That's nothing, right? We want to be we want to be ranked number one. What? Revenues, profit, quality, customer satisfaction, loyalty. What? I have. It's complete nonsense. And so the more specific a strategy can be, the clearer the language can be, the more implementable it can be. I'm a great believer that if you speak like a scientist, only scientists will understand you. But if you speak like a truck driver, both truck drivers and scientists will understand you. And the amazing thing is, if you actually speak like a scientist, even a lot of the scientists don't understand you. The point is, use very simple terminology that somebody who's not in your industry, who doesn't know your business, would understand what you're trying to do. And if that's the basis of the language that you choose to use, that anyone can understand what you're attempting to do, and if you started someone tomorrow, they would be able to take the reins and go because it's so crystal clear. That's the standard that we need to use inside our own organizations. When the language is clear, when the language is specific, when the language is simple, it's easy. It's easy to implement, right? Off to the races you go.
Is it visible?
Yeah, it is visible.
Yes.
Perfect. So essentially, here the importance of language. If you are speaking like a scientist, only scientists may understand, or few of them may not also understand. But if you are speaking like a truck driver, scientist and truck driver both will understand. So digital leadership is not making things complicated. It is making simple, and you should be able to penetrate it to the last user of the society. So that is what digital leadership is all about. It is not about being in the elite group of CXOs only. You should be there, and I wish you should go there. But at the same time, it is not limited to that. And if we use this simple language, if we have the clear strategy for that matter, then it makes an effective digital leader. So that video was very relevant to that. So that's why we thought that we can play it for you. We are open for your reflections, your thoughts, but at the same time, we will move forward to the next slide. But yes, any reflections here? Any thoughts? I was little afraid about this monotonous discussion. That's why I have invited Ajit as well. But yes, thanks for Jain Saab and Gyanendra for expressing your views. If you are, you can mention in the chat as well. But if you speak out, that will be great. You will feel inclusive.
Sorry, Vijay, can you rephrase your question? I was disconnected in between.
Yeah, I'm not having any specific questions. If you have watched that video, what is importance of using simple language and what is importance
Right,
of having
right.
clear strategy? So what is your reflection? Quick reflection.
Yes. So I think that is the purpose for basically that is the real purpose of technology to serve the society. Okay. So if something like if a truck driver can understand really, then I think entire society can understand, and we can deliver the benefit from that technology to entire society, which will serve the last man of the society, which is the real purpose of the technology. Yes.
Absolutely, makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure that all of you or most of you are with us for this thought process. But let us explore a few more slides, and let us say that to be a successful leader, what are a few more points or qualities we should have? So first of all, you should be able to challenge the obvious. So question the foundation, take advantage of ecosystem. So there is process of 7 why, so that you can apply here as well. So then this is a little annoying for few of the people in the organization, but as a digital leader you need to thin the herd. Then a digital leader create a leanest internal organization possible to gain the flexibility to utilize the brightest external talent at the best terms on demand. See, if you are trying to lean your organization, at the same time you are trying to get use or make use of the external talent as well, bright talent. So that is what being lean is all about, being lean, being agile. So uh, that gives you a lot of advantages, being fit, being active, so for that matter. So so when you are digital leader, you need to take some decisions. There may be some uh, uh, what we can say that you need to reduce your team size. That is acceptable for you as a digital leader.
And
So
then Vijay, so what
yeah,
I also think, if I may add here, I mean, when we
yeah,
say thin the herd, it doesn't mean that we are saying that. I mean, most of the time it is considered to be a concept where we want
cutting job.
lesser
Yeah,
number. Yeah, yeah. So that
yeah,
is not the case here.
correct, correct,
What it really means is that being more efficient, right? So
correct.
being able to do the same thing with lesser number of people, which are more capable, and then at the same time utilize the technology. I mean, that we are talking about digital leadership here, right? So being in a position where we are able to use digital technology much more than what we could have done in general. So that is, I would say, a more emphasizing aspect that is being covered in this particular point.
Yeah, yeah, very well said. And the last point, it is no proven time and again that IT leaders are very introvert, and so for that they need to be visible, they need to be heard, they need to be known. So sometimes you need to beat your own drums, of course, for good things. So that is there, and that is what was emphasizing about the digital presence. So. Uh, uh, I'm not sure if we have enough time, but Ajit, if you can quickly, we had discussion about that late Sushma Swaraj, how she was having her digital footprint and taking advantage of that.
Yeah, yeah, of course. I mean, so again, a disclaimer here: it is not about any political party or something like this. But then this is just an example which is visible in the public life. Everybody might have seen this. If you think of scenarios where we have seen even leaders who are visible in public domain, how they are utilizing the digital channels like Twitter or maybe Facebook or LinkedIn. There are many such examples, and Vijay mentioned about late our one of our ministers, Sushma Ji Swaraj, and how she was utilizing this Twitter and those mediums to support and extend the facilities to people who are in difficult situation in different countries at different times across the globe. And then this is, she was able to assist, help those people at times to come back to India, or maybe some other situations. We all might have read it in newspapers. So this is just an example, of course, that how a digital leader who is not really working in corporate world can still utilize digital medium and be a person who can be called as a digital leader here. So that is one thing that Vijay was mentioning, and I thought just, and this might be another example straight from an area which is not from the corporate world but outside the corporate world as well. So there can be many such examples that one can think of if we think of different doctors or even those people who are involved in so-called, I mean, we call it as social service or community help. They're also there. They are utilizing the digital medium channels to help people to still be able to contribute back towards the society. Yeah.
Yeah. So I will not dwell again on this slide. Uh, uh, it is talking about the agility. Rather, I will we will discuss this build up participation and accountability. So, as a digital leader, it is most important for you to make sure that you build the partnership, and one who is with you should know what's in it for me. So that will add accountability as well. So that vision and that uh, clarity you should have as a digital leader. So I read one quote day before yesterday on Facebook. It was telling that talent can hit the target no one can see, no one can hit, but genius can hit the target no one can see. So leadership is about looking at something which others cannot see or other cannot imagine. So that is applied for digital leadership as well. So you need to have very clear and good vision, and uh, that will help others to participate and build accountability. So that is whole meaning of building partner participation and accountability. So it is again talking about inclusive leadership. When people care about the task they are performing and work with their heart and soul, great things are possible. So how you can do that? So if you see four pillars of this, how you can provide direction, clarity, and purpose. So even though we are talking a lot about digital leadership, you need to be sure that at the center of everything what we are doing is a people. So digital world is not about technology but people. So this is very important and very uh, what we can say, uh, you should take care of this, that you should understand that digital world is not about technology but it is about people. So this sentence tells you the importance of a people. So uh, when we say digital world, it is not about technology, it is for the people. The great leaders have the ability to disappear complexity and present simple steps. So again we are emphasizing importance of the simplicity, not making it complicated. So with some jargons, if you are making it complicated, then it will be difficult for you, for your organization. Then leaders need to energize everyone and inspire them with an inclusive vision. That's what we were trying to emphasize. So when the people know the why, they will figure out how. So let them know that why we are doing this, why your participation is important, so why you are playing pivotal role or key role in this activity. So let them know why, and they are intelligent enough to figure out how. Okay. uh, One more quiz. So a way to test an idea quickly by creating extremely simplified versions of that product to build the write it before you build it right. What we call, you can text in the chat or you can unmute and speak, and after that I will tell you what is importance of this. Can we see some chat? Any answers?
Not yet. I guess people are thinking about it. I'm
Mhm.
sure we will see answers coming in. Yeah.
Perfect. I
So
can't see the
yes,
name, but
yeah.
Oppo F11. Okay, so it is just a uh, simple concept of prototyping and why it is important when we are talking about digital leadership or digital transformation. So when you're thinking everything as a pilot, so importance of prototyping becomes very important, or it plays a key role. So by the time you are developing your final product, the technology uh, uh, may have been changed. So you need to check for your opportunity window. Accordingly, you have to quickly prepare your prototypes and test it, and then you can launch the uh, entire product, or after delta release you can have a full release. So that is importance of prototyping. So prototyping plays very important role in the digital transformation because we consider changes every time, and we consider everything as a pilot. Okay, we'll go to the next slide. Yeah, a few challenges ahead. Then this is the second last slide, and we can conclude. I know that all of you are eager to watch the Punjab and Delhi Daredevil match. Chris Gale will be playing, and Kagiso Rabada is there. So Ajit, if you can touch base few challenges ahead, or I can
Yeah,
do
yeah,
that. You can explain last slide, whatever you
yeah,
feel.
yeah, yeah. Good.
Yeah. So uh, leaders need to create system that ensure transparency. So I think we have not touch based this point called as a transparency. That is highest ethical standard. So you need to be transparent. Sometime you need to carry the unwanted or unpleasant decisions. So decisions at the same time, you need to make sure that uh, uh, you're following ethical standards. So dealing with the personal data. So this is also important. So intentionally we have added this point here when we are talking about digital transformation or digital era. So security or data privacy is very important, and there are very high level of penalties for this. Then leaders in the new age need to inspire, engage, and lead. Technology can play a role in reducing. So again, last point, if we look at the broader picture of digitization, or you as a digital leader, you can see that directly or indirectly, rather I would say directly, uh, this digital transformation is reducing this uh, racial or gender or economic inequalities or discriminations. So it is giving equal opportunity to most of us. So that is also one lookout for the for you as a digital leader. So you are not limiting, and you are more inclusive, and you are making sure that we all go together. If you can walk alone, then you may go fast, but if you go together, you will go long distance. So that is
Yeah,
what challenges ahead, and everything boils down to this slide, which Ajit will explain quickly.
yeah.
Then we can
And
conclude
Vijay,
this.
so
Yeah.
just to, if I may add the points in the previous slide again. So why, see, we have been saying that the digital media is available across the globe nowadays, and then when we think of transparency and high ethical standards, now imagine some data about somebody or some organization. We have seen there have been many cases in the past where data theft has happened, right? And then that has resulted into loss of the reputation for the organization. So as a digital leadership, if we think of the digital leadership, one has to be very clear in terms of the standards that they follow in an organization. And then when it also talks about transparency in how we do the business with our customers in different regions of the world, there are different laws of the land. For example, I think 2018 May, there was one more regulation which came into picture in addition to what it was there in history. So if we think of Europe as a region, this GDPR came into picture, which is the General Data Protection Regulation, which talks about how a data subject should be informed or has the right to be informed, has the right of deletion of their data, and then the data controller, data processor. There are different terminologies which have come into place. So if we think of ourselves as a person who wants to know more about being a digital leader, then these are the concepts. At the same time, when we are thinking of our customers, we definitely need to make sure that we need to cover those topics. Yeah. And then I think I see the message from Sering Tashi that this will be closing in a minute or so. So let's go back again, or is it an old one? Yeah. So this is very important slide. I would say that
Yeah.
all
So if
said
it
and
is,
done.
we may not join again. So if we can quickly conclude, Ajit, then we can express vote of
Yes.
thanks in few
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
seconds.
So, I mean, time and again, if we look at all the different things that we have spoken till now, but then based on one of the surveys that was done by MIT Sloan and Cognizant, these are the four very important pillars: honesty, integrity, inspiration. You already covered that, Vijay. Yeah. That
Yes.
sounds good.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that was our second last slide. Uh, but I would like to really thank all of the participants, and uh, uh, they were from the start till end of the session. Even though I think 20 odd participants were there, but throughout the session they were there, and I'm sure that it was helpful for all of them. And thank you very much, Tashi and Ajit for being with me.
Yeah, I really appreciate both Vijay and Ajit, in spite of their busy schedule and this weekend, they came and shared their experience, and it was really a very valuable lecture today. And I hope all the participants, they would have got a very good knowledge about the digital leadership, which is the need of the hour in today's time, and particularly in this pandemic, which calls for like thinking digitally, doing all business doing digitally. So digital leadership is the really it holds the future of the particularly in the business sector. So I really thank you both of you and all the participants. Thanks for participating in today's lecture. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Have a
Thank
good
you.
rest of the day. Thank you.
Thank you. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks.
Bye bye.
Okay, bye. Thank you.